Hi, and welcome to a very special coworking, a podcast about what makes coworking special. And this is the first episode of this new year, so I'm trying all kind of new stuff. So I've been trying a new kind of banner. I don't know if I like it or not. I'm trying this new kind of video. It's a bit church-like. I also don't know if I like it or not, but I'm trying new things and seeing how it sticks or not. And this year and this month's guest is Bozhidar Ivanov from Networking Premium. Welcome, Bozhidar.
Hello, Fanny. Thanks for having me here.
I met Bozhidar. It's very, very weird. I know a lot of people from Open Sofia. I've never been to Bulgaria, but I don't know. They share a bunch of stuff on Facebook, on LinkedIn, and you've been you and Anastasia, the other person I know,
hmm
been involved with freelance business, which is kind of based in Belgium, or at
Yes.
least one of the members is based in Belgium. And so I've been following all that and connecting with all those wonderful people, including Bozhidar. I think I've published a guest post with you. Is that correct?
Yes, I'm pretty sure you have
Yeah, so
on our
that was
blog.
the first time we really had a discussion through LinkedIn DMs. And then I saw not too long ago that Bozhidar was working in a co-working. I'm like, oh my God, I should invite my network, to talk about co-working and be co-working geeks together. And here we are. So Bozhidar is hosting events with Networking Premium, and will tell us all about it and about the different events been doing. But what question I had for quite some time now: what are you doing, Bozhidar? Because you do copywriting, you do social media, you do event, you do co-working, you do so many different things, don't you?
hmm Yes. Well, again, it changes on a day-to-day basis. Uh, with my day job, recently I started a new position as a marketing assistant for a British company, but I'm still
Mhm.
involved in networking premium. I still do lots of marketing related stuff. So that's lots of social media, emails, HubSpot, outreach, things like that.
Mhm.
But I also love like getting my hands dirty and making stuff happen in real life. So events is one of the ways that I do that, and I'm also involved in, for example, mentoring organizations such as Mentor the Young, which is an organization which which promotes mentoring, and that's also one way in
Mhm.
which I'm trying to be useful and I get to meet new people and go do events and things like that. So whatever I can get my hands on, I like to get involved.
Yeah, so you're pretty active, doing many different things at the same time. Like to say multi-passionate, doing multiple
Yes.
things at the same time, because that's how you are. That's what I do too. And so you were not involved with co-working previously. Your experience with networking premium was the first time you were working with a co-working space, correct?
Yes, that's correct.
And how did you learn about co-working? Were you yourself a member of a co-working before working with them, or?
Well, no, actually not. It's funny that you mentioned Open Bulgaria because that is an organization that helps foreigners settle in Bulgaria. And I was doing the marketing of that organization as a volunteer. And after the pandemic, during the pandemic, we were focused more on online things, on making content or on connecting with people online.
Mhm.
But as soon as the pandemic finished, we shifted to live events. And since the founder of this group, Giuseppe, who is an amazing person,
Yes.
he is a very good friend with Emil, who is the founder of Networking Premium. So almost
Mm,
all the events that we did for Open Bulgaria, they were hosted in Networking Premium. And back
okay.
then, I didn't even know what the co-working was. I just saw this great place that opened its doors for us to and allowed us to do all these great type of events. So that's how I got involved with Networking Premium. I got to know what they did. I got involved with the community, and that's how we started.
Yeah, so you haven't been to a co-working space yet. You're organizing events. Suddenly you can organize event in that space, which is a co-working
Yes.
space. What did you think about it? Did you first thought it might be just an event venue, or did you see all the co-working part of it? What was your first impression?
Yeah, well, maybe in the start I was thinking more in terms of traditional office because I know that people were working there, and you get people running around with laptops and things like that. So I just thought that uh, w- uh, just the founders were allowing us to use it for events. But
Hmm.
then, after I got to know the people there a bit more, I started to realize that they do lots more than just have offices. I started understanding what a co-working space is. I started getting involved with other events that they did, and that's how my impression of this grew.
Yeah, yeah. So when did it happen that you started to work more with them and not just with, because at that time you were working with Open Bulgaria and you were
Yes.
hosting events there, but that's all. You
Hmm.
were not really working with networking premium.
Yes. Well, it's a bit of a funny story because I ended up liking the place so much that
Mm,
sometimes when I was having events there with Open Bulgaria, people from random people that came to visit or people that were actual coworkers, they started asking me questions and they would ask
mhm,
like, "Do you work here?" And I was like, "Well, no, I don't work here, but I can help you with whatever you're looking for," because at that point I knew the spaces quite well,
mhm,
and it seemed very natural that one day I would actually start working there. And in my previous position, again, I was doing marketing, and it was a very sort of desk-based job, and I
mhm,
was a bit dissatisfied with that. I was really not feeling
mm.
too happy with the place I was working with, and I thought that it might be interesting to try something different, move away from marketing a little bit, and that's how, as I was looking for a job, I realized that they were looking for a person to help them with events, and everything happened very naturally.
Yeah, you were already planning events at that place, so why not plan
Mhm.
even more events? And that's how you came on board. What's your first experience as more an employee, an insider, different than what you expected, or was it kind of the same? How was it?
Well, when I was an outsider, I was always looking at it from just one angle. But then, as
Hmm.
soon as I was an actual employee, I had a much bigger view of the whole business, and we're actually a really like we're a small company, but we have a very big business. We have maybe around 10 locations, so we have quite a lot, quite a lot that happens below the surface. We have lots of things that we're working on at any point. So it was really a shock to learn about all the new things that we were doing, to learn about all the things that were happening,
Hmm.
to learn about how we were, approaching our clients, who were the companies that we were working with, what was the process of buying milk or like even small things like that. So it was
Yeah,
just so many things go into running a co-working that it was a very big learning process. And even now I've been there for 6 months and there's still new things that I learn. So there's lots of things that go inside
yeah.
working in a place like that.
It's very big and very complex. It's true. And I'm thinking some co-working spaces do not host event or they don't have the space for that.
Mhm.
Or some it's really half or most of the business are about events and it's been really crazy during the
Mhm.
pandemic, but whatever. You're hosting events. Do you believe co-working and events go well together, or they don't have to host event, or do you think it's absolutely necessary? Of course, you might preach for your church, but I
Mhm.
want to have your point of view.
Well, really, co-workings and events are a very good fit, uh,
Mm,
mainly because when you're in a co-working, you're not just a worker there, but you become part of their community.
yeah.
So you end up really meeting new people there. You meet people that otherwise you wouldn't have met, and you're just in this space together, and it just very naturally you get to know people, you make friends, and you obviously the next step is you want to socialize with them, and you don't want to just be in a working environment. So for the coworkers, it is very natural for them to go to events with other coworkers. And if the events are in the co-working, then that's super convenient because you're all already there.
Yeah.
And even for the companies themselves, you might think, okay, this is just an office, so I'll go there, work 9 to 5, and then go home. But then when we have events, you work 9 to 5, and then after that, you have a fun event that you can join. So it's a natural match for co-working spaces and events. And
Yeah.
as long as you have the space for it, then I think it's absolutely a good idea to host events in your co-working.
What kind of space do you believe is right for event? Is a kitchen enough for like more small, informal event, or do you need really a big event venue to attract people to host events there?
Well, it really depends.
Mm,
Depends on what you have and what you're working with. At Networking Premium, we're very fortunate to have a lot of different spaces. We
mm-hmm.
have big terraces that are good for summer parties when the weather is nice, but we also
Yeah,
have big halls that are good for big indoor events, and we also have smaller spaces that are a bit more interesting, that are more fun for smaller community type events. So
yeah.
really, whatever you have, it's not what you have, it's how you use it, as people say.
Mm. What kind of event do you typically host? Like you were saying, there are bigger space and bigger events, and smaller space, smaller events. What is the spectrum exactly of what you've been hosting?
Well, we have lots of events at Networking Premium. If you start from the big end, we have our premium event, which is pitch to pitch, which is a competition where startups pitch their ideas for 1 minute in front of investors, and that happens
Hmm.
every month, and uh, in, that gets like maybe 300 people attending. So it's
Yeah.
really our biggest event, and it's quite
Hmm.
quite a big event. And we've also done some big conferences that again they've involved like 200, 300 people. So even our biggest event space, we use that. And on the other end of the spectrum, we have some very small intimate events. We have board game nights where
Yeah.
just 10 or 15 people just gather around and play board games. We have a chess
Yes.
event where people come and play chess. So it's a very big spectrum.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
Again, it comes back to what event space do you have and what you can
Hmm.
use it for. But we do lots of events and with all sorts of scale, type, corporate, and also more friendly and community-based events.
Hmm.
So really, we do it all.
Yeah, you impress me with the chess or the board game because even if you have a very small space, you could say, okay, at 6 p.m. it's the end, we close and we
Mhm.
start our weekly Friday chess game or something like that. And could actually be a
Yeah,
thing because even if there are only space for 10 people, you say, ah, it's 10 people because there's no more space, no more chair, and it could be a thing.
yeah, absolutely. Again, it's up to you about what you want to make, and you can always get people that you already
Hmm.
have the people that are your audience. So
Hmm.
whatever you do, you already have somebody that wants to listen. So why not make an event? You
Hmm.
have people that want to join.
Yeah, yeah. What about the frequency then? Do you mostly have weekly, monthly event, or is it more ad hoc when the opportunity is there? How do you organize that?
Well, that really depends on the events. Some
Mm,
events we like to keep a structure. We like to have them every month, and our audience expects that they will be there every month. So they can even our biggest event, pitch to pitch, it happens every month on the 11th. So even if you make zero advertisement, people know that on the 11th in Networking Premium Gurko, we're having that event. So it's good that if you can have some structure and have a schedule. But even if you don't have that, sometimes we make events for 3 days in the future. So we sometimes we have very small time to advertise them, but still we do them if we think it's a good idea and if it's easy to organize. We can do them like this. So it
Yeah.
really depends on the event and what
What
works for
makes you
you.
think that an event, a type of event, is a good idea and that people will show up? Because 3 days is very short.
Yes. Well, honestly, we do it by our own,
Mm,
you know, by our own opinion. Because
mm,
sometimes we have some events and they don't end up working very well. Uh, Mostly because, let's say, we choose a bad time. Let's say if it's around Christmas and people are traveling and
mm,
they might not have the time to come visit us. So, it's if we think it's a good idea and we can make it, we make it, and then obviously we do the promotion on social media.
mm.
We tell to people, but at the end of the day, it's sometimes events don't work out very well and they don't get high attendance. But that's part of the job. You can never predict how something will perform.
Yeah, you don't know if you don't try it. And then you learn and you iterate for the next time. For example, you were talking about Christmas. So apparently, Christmas
Yes.
isn't a good time to plan events.
Yes.
Weird.
Uh, even if it's like a Christmas event,
Yeah.
sometimes it might not it might not attract as many people because people are traveling, people have
Hmm.
other ideas, uh, or sometimes this Halloween we had like a big Halloween event, but the
Hmm.
problem is there was lots of other Halloween events and we didn't get
Mm.
a lot of attendees, which is very sad. But again,
Oh,
it's part of the job.
yeah, yeah.
Uh, so
So another lesson learned is typical holidays and period when there are a lot of other events. So maybe identify time time period when there aren't that many
mhm.
events and be like, okay, we're gonna be one of the only that makes an event during those times.
Yeah, that's a very good point. Sometimes, if you pick a day where there's not a lot of other things going on and
Hmm.
people want to be outside, they want to socialize, they can come to you. But if you pick a very, busy point,
So now you say you were working on events with Open Bulgaria, working hosting events in networking programs, and you started working on all events with networking programs. You're still working with them, but you also move on another job, meaning you don't have that much time anymore. I
yes.
was wondering, my one question for you, what kind of events do you like the most to host? Not to attend, to host, because maybe they're different.
Okay, that's,
Huh.
I guess that's an interesting question. I guess the events I like the most is the events that people enjoy,
Mm.
because when people come and they have fun, obviously you feel that, and that makes you feel good. So I was saying again,
Mhm.
events that people enjoy. It can
Yes.
be a small event, it can be a big event, but if people are having fun, even if something goes wrong, or if
Mhm.
you didn't have the time to set everything up as you wanted, then if the people are enjoying it, that's the most important part.
And would you say that's more hobby event or a personal event compared to the professional event that might be more serious and less fun in a way?
Well, I've attended the professional events that have been quite fun. You know, even if it's like a conference or if it's
Mm.
like a lecture, and if the people are interested in attending and learning
Mm.
from there, then it is still fun, even though it's not like a party or something. So even if it's work involved, if the people are there and they're having fun, then it's still fun, even though it's not something very relaxing or very chilled out.
Yeah, so that's been your experience. That's been my experience, but I like to hear other people's point of view. I like to think that you cannot work without having fun because you need fun to do great work. So you need to have fun to work. But
Yeah,
that's my
absolutely.
personal belief, maybe. Uh, I'm glad I'm not the only one in this baguette. And so that's event you like to host. What about events you like to attend?
Uh, for events like to attend, well, on the one hand, events that are attended by people that I know, because
Mm,
obviously I'm part of the community. I know
yeah.
lots of people from Networking Premium and from other organizations that I've worked with. So when you go to an event and you see lots of familiar faces, I guess that's the most fun type of event.
Mm,
And also maybe if it's an event that has lots of high energy, you know, if it's a presentation or if it's something very inspirational or something that has lots of young people that want to learn more and share experience, and you can
yeah.
feel the energy in that space. And I guess that's what I like in attending the most because it fills me up with the
Mm,
inspiration and good ideas.
it's a bit like your mentorship program you were talking about earlier.
Exactly.
Yeah, you were thinking about that one. What made you think about joining such program?
Well, uh, before I started, I've uh, I've mentored one person in the UK, and I helped them get better in their marketing journey and get a job
Hmm.
in marketing. And I found that was a super rewarding experience. So
Yeah,
I thought about that might be something that I'd want to do here in Bulgaria as well, and that's why I attended Mentor the Young, which is the mentoring program that I attend now, and it was also very fun because I didn't realize back then that they have a very strong community of young ambitious people, and that's also one of the reasons why I
yeah,
enjoy going to their events and being part of the community.
yeah. High energy.
Well, not actually not too nerdy, but yeah, a little bit.
And maybe my last question
Mhm.
about the future. So, what you're doing now, you're doing kind of marketing, maybe, or doing less events than before, aren't you?
Yes, well, at the moment,
Mm,
for my day job, I'm more focused on marketing, but I'm still focused on doing events
mm-hmm,
because that's something that I really enjoy. And actually, right now, I'm planning to create a startup conference in networking.
mm,
So
mm-hmm,
it's going to be a conference where we're going to invite people that are going to speak on the topics of, leadership, marketing, networking, growing, because we have a very big network of startup founders,
yeah.
VCs, angel investors, and other super successful leaders. And the natural step is to get those people in our spaces and get them to share their experience. So this
Yeah,
is the
I,
big
I
event that
feel co-working spaces are pretty much linked with the startup industry,
yeah.
or it's startuper who started the co-working space, or it's somebody that created their own co-working space for themselves to work
Yes.
at and invited other startups, etc. So they're really tight.
Yes, absolutely.
Mm,
And we love to give back to the community, invite people to learn something new, and become founders themselves. We love to
mhm.
nurture people with great ideas,
To loop
and
the loop.
of course, that's what
Mm,
networking premium is most known for, and that's what we're going to carry on
yeah.
doing.
Uh,
So I'll do this event, and then obviously I'll carry on doing some of the other smaller events, like the chess event that we're
mm,
doing.
yeah.
So there is still going to be lots of they'll be seeing me around a lot.
Yeah, and that's pretty motivating in a way because you could say, okay, I'm moving on to something else. I won't work with them anymore because I have something else in my life. That's totally
Mhm.
legit. But you decided to still work with them,
Yeah,
hosting
absolutely.
events and all that.
Uh,
Yeah,
Again, I was doing that as part of Open Bulgaria before I worked with
yeah,
them, and I'll still carry on doing afterwards because I genuinely enjoy it. I
yeah.
love meeting the people that are part of the community. I like
Mm,
making events and getting people to come and have fun and enjoy themselves. So
mm-hmm.
obviously, I get lots of positive emotions from this as well. I get to meet
Oh,
lots of new people,
yeah,
so I do get lots of it. I
yeah.
get lots from it.
You do it with your heart, huh?
Of
That's
course.
good. Well, we're coming to the end bit by bit. I know it's very very short. You didn't.
Mhm.
We don't expect that sometimes. Maybe before we close, this might be one more thing you'd like to add or to talk about.
Hmm.
Mm.
Well, okay, nothing pops to mind at the moment. Until I remember something, I can invite you all to, if you want to get in touch with me, uh, you can get in touch on LinkedIn. I'm sure Fanny will provide the link. You can also follow Networking Premium Co-working Spaces on LinkedIn and Facebook. And if you are in Sofia, if you are a freelancer or if you work remotely, or if you want to try out the space, you can message me on LinkedIn, and I can go and I'll give you a daily pass so we can come and try the space.
Oh. So reach out on LinkedIn and maybe start the conversation. And Bulgaria is more and more known among remote workers and digital nomads, and it's been on my list for quite some time. So I'll be sure
Mhm.
to drop by Sofia at some point.
Yes, and
My
if you have any
plans.
cool ideas for events, you can always drop them, and I'll see what I can do.
Hmm. I'll think about it. I'll make a list.
Cool. I'd
There's
love to hear
always new
them.
things to do, right?
Absolutely.
Well, Bozhidar, thank you so much for this lovely conversation about all those kind of events and basically how to build a community because that's in the end really what it is about.
Of
And
course.
as we were saying, we'll catch up again in the comments or through the DMs.
Yes. Thank you very much, Fanny, and thanks for everyone who watched. And yeah, if you've never been to a co-working space, I highly recommend it because you never know what you're gonna find there.
That's true.
So feel so go for it.
Yeah. Bye.
Goodbye.